the socks! The socks we exchange so ceremoniously, replacing the nothings and the never hases and the things we can never say. The gifts of a poor rehearsal now are off Broadway play where all the shows will never sell out and the director's been offered a better offer but she can't take it because of contractual reasons and all your friends are on casual day as extras. Christopher Stewart is on the stage. Be careful. Anything could happen. Who wants me to do the set that I had planned to do? That is one option. Or we can do batshit crazy.
Yeah. Batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy? Yeah. You asked for it, so you're gonna get it. Am I coming through? Milky like tea time, I arrived for the shingle rooftops missing their moon teeth. If only shingles shawed. The attic leviathans would stop spurning me from the corners of my eyes where we had arranged to rendezvous. Oh, the synchronized watches worked in my day, but now everybody texts instead of ringing the doorbell. How did we ever get to the moon? Knocking is far too unpredictable. We exist like finger-penned hieroglyphs, you and I. The rooms kiss back with apologies for not automatically opening their bank vault doors. The aircon lingers like overly tactile continental kisses. Soya protein would reinvigorate my muscle tissues if I permitted it. And pouring breakfast yogurt would blur the boundary betwixt cultures and milk. Not on my watch. Did I stay off on Desert Storm nights to watch an ITN? Bombers crusade in my name, just to let Lidl products aggressively assimilate my refrigerator. My chocolate is Belgian. My thyme is Swiss cheese. I have a lisp like the Elephant Man, and I spend over the odds for the convenience of non-comparative shopping at Poundland. I forget the plastic coins we used to learn with in nursery. They hothouse me good because I am now vegetable man. The plastic coins float, but the wishes never resurfaced. They're forgotten now, like Rohypnol. No one needs to date rape anymore out with shyness. Everyone's so compliant. Whatever happened to the bullies? If I'd known they'd go the way of telegraph wires, I'd have stood up to this. Whilst conjugal strangers meet at haunts, ghost lives play out forgotten amidst the spectres of dry ice enclosures, added to which a little bit of music. The hypnol teens dream blank slates and grow into their tabular arasa adults. As a codependent, I require my narcissistic supply. I can't get that K-hole of I unless she's my mother for the majority of the pie chart that perfectly represents our time. Now let's get to the really weird shit. I went out with a 6-year-old physiotherapist after my father was diagnosed with emphysema, and shortly just before that had a collapsed lung. We made love, though lying in her arms like board games. I couldn't help thinking that the end game was already in sight. And maybe I was closer to her because I was closer to death. I don't know if it was my way of dealing with things, but she used to play me with her roulette planchette, and she hands me my hands, closed eyes, and the eyelids like night's hikes, halitosis, and the scoliosis of my creams, cry, embrace, and explicated make little sense. She self-penned reels in all the blithe terms of patriarchal anger, and there's no wanted signs laying atop the grilling subbinses of my bashful make-way lullabies. I sought the spirit break, led from the memory of my mantra, the admirable flexibility of her yoga flower lotus positions, and she scared my black clothes out, all out interesting. And I attached this story as hard as a coconut eye advertiser's innards to chest my ribs, which you couldn't have stacked any neater because I have my father's shoulders. And his ambition, a board cabinet full of cut glass shapes set out in zoetrope lines, and the leads all roll over for the part, and my Dr. Jekylls hide out a few, and all the bees escape the British countryside. And let's go a little bit deeper. I feel like I'm not going crazy enough. Eastern Europe will not jump the queue in eye on eye, or my mother as compared to foodstuff she packed in the kitchen. Not me, not I. I grew up in her furrows. I tramped down and vandalised people's lives. Oh, you, take a hike, leak, and I pointed to the anchor on my hand. I wouldn't skip porting you, mum. What's the worst her wheat could do? I lay down in her leat and I kick off the creamy white skin. Like Brian Ginseng, she tastes like coconut milk. Oh, you criminal. Yeah, and people's lives, all sweetness and spice. Well, I bet with that cream, you can tread furrows, kick off your muddied galoshes, and white the skin with hun-dappied sun-dapples. Butter my eyelids and cast aside your oriental-looking scaredy cats. All sweetness and cream, glucose, syrup and antihistamine. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't put it any clearer. Oh, the labyrinth of her vascular bundles, the knots in those old calves. Unstretch them. How many extra yards should be cut away like weeds and stretch them? She's the ingredients on a tin of pineapples banned by the EU. All corn, syrup, additives. Well, I can complain. My blubber is hydrogenated vegetable oils and monomer trains, all this lattice work, and the patterners and the front vestibules of my cardiac cabinets. The TS5s and the TS6s, all laced with flavourings and lacquered with clip lime. Asbestos and fried up with polymer heat. Her breasts are potatoes. Yeah, swarmy masses. Oceans of pesticides, lacking the iron to endure the bar magnet of the moon in this zoetrope cell system of pathogens and pattern that's via virulent sine wave messages. She is a sine wave. I am a digitised sawtooth. It was never going to work out. Her sauerkraut kitchens hold all the rottenness in tins, pasteurised, of unusable calorific intake. Oh my God, you muddy boots. Butter my sun-dapples, close my letterbox, glaring all sweetness. Feruza, now, my mother's substitute. White skin I intend to climb creamily. She commands, what's the worst thing you did? Her sternum wears the sun. I lay in her wheat. Bet she tastes like coconut milk or a Thai massage. I bundle those knots and those old calves and I palpitate the guilt trips and monomer chains, and they're all laced with flavourings and lacquered with sentiments of the past. Her endoscopy kiss sought naught but secrets behind my advertiser's smile. My billboard mug plastered up for months to see. Month after month, new utensils I needed feeding like a battery house hen. I lay my own foie gras, and I yield oily sebum and nocturnal admissions. And my drinks are quaaludes on long, cool light wakes and summer evenings when the rain shimmers pan mirror planes of smashed greenhouses on the estates, and the sun hangs like the lowest bauble on the bidder's Christmas tree, and the spangled neopervic circle of the rainbow hangs like an incomplete wreath, hung on the covenant broken like a Brocken spectre at the summit of her breasts, and the halitosis of her breath and the smelted cranberry wine and the mulled ales and Christmas crackers and the safe lock hands. My evenings are cool, long carriageways of binary dual passageways of blue blood and red light smears, trailing the snail pace of laboratory dales along salted pathways, amazed school children riding plastic on ice and compound fractures grasp them by the wrists and break their hands, and my mother, she cries, and she hears me pitch like an Oscar winner at a Nobel laureate's speech, liquefacting the promulgates of the lodescones like geezers on the geishas, on bath salts, batshit crazy on the socks we exchange so ceremoniously, replacing the nothings and the never hases and the things we can never say, the gifts of a poor rehearsal now on off Broadway play where all the shows will never sell out and the director's been offered a better offer but she can't take it because of contractual reasons and the obligations of your mates and your friends and the Doctor Who's and the doctors on daytime TVs and the TVs making scenes with body bags in the background and all your friends are on casualty as extras and my slow chin perambulates and the vertical spear. The vertical pier you thought was such a good idea, Redcar. You were convinced it would take off. It's an Ish Kapoor's giant metallic femidom. It's that bottle of Little Note. If you were to solder R.I.P. backwards on the 4 American sneakers of your trainers, you could walk through puddles, and at least then you would walk on the truth. Even as you lie. Father! And I walk the dripping human albumen of TS5 to the Crown and all the other night pubs, and they stand about scrambled like an omelette Stalin wouldn't even look at, and the statisticians pour over the ladles and fold into themselves like meringues losing their peaks, and all these fellow freaks stir themselves like startled hens, and these abortions file down the wet streets like grist savings and wet cement. This town wears itself outwardly like a fashion victim.
More.
More.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with this one. I'll leave you with I feel spent and reborn. How do you feel? Feel like we've been on a journey together. Oh.
You've done it.
James Joyce meets William Burroughs in a borough back street. That was a total tour de farce.
Thank you. My crown of thorns.
This ever so slight niggle I have with the world today, but it is not the shallow entities of celebrity culture.
The sun's itchy trigger finger? You'd probably call this a simple shopping mall. To me, it's my place of work. This is an act of repairs for Stewart. In character, so it's like you make a little trip. That's part of the character. If you bump into someone, that's part of the character. There's a funny story David Tennant told me. He was filming Doctor Who up here, on an estate actually. And in the background all the estate kids were going, "Oh, you wanker!" And his way to incorporate that into character is he turned around and he said, "Fuck off. Itchy trigger finger? Fuck right off." So that's the way that you got to do it. Fourth wall and focus.